Hello everybody, my name is CyberAqua and welcome back to Fallen Hero Rebirth. Rebirth. Rebirth of the Fallen Hero, but it is actually Fallen Villain Rebirth. I don't know. I'm a villain in this story. Who cares? Title doesn't even matter. Anyway, been a while back. I'm back at it again. Not really, I'm just trying to record more content. Haha. Anyway, been like noticing that people actually watching some of my videos for Fallen Hero Rebirth a bit, so I thought might as well try and continue it onwards. It won't be as frequent, but it will be like once every 2 to 3 weeks. But hopefully, people might enjoy that. And yeah, I should stop talking because this is just wasting time. I should read this thing, read it, and I might put in some music if I actually think about it. I really should. Better music. I don't know. Let's go. Los Diablos is the heart of free Western territories. Though the other cities may be growing larger, this was the first. The damage was severe, sure, but even the massive quake and shifting coastline did a lot less damage to the infrastructure here than it did elsewhere. Just a note: I'm bad at reading. I have English as my second language, so please bear that in mind. No one complained about it. I'm pretty surprised. So I'll continue onwards. Yeah, where was I? I just lost it. Okay. Stella, whatever that word is, settlers or whatever, nearly got drowned by mudslides when Mount Rainier erupted. The tsunami hit Portland hard, and San Francisco, I can't even say a word properly. What the hell is wrong with me? Well, the less said about that, the better, right? It is also here where you have all your contacts, as you fought crime in this city for years. That makes it a lot easier to switch sides. Besides, it's a big place, and you know which areas you should avoid, where you used to go, where you used to eat. Learning new habits is painful, but it's better than being spotted. Take your favorite diner, for example. Back when you ran with the Rangers, you would never have visited a place like this. Not that you were a snob, you just tended to eat out with Ortega he had standards. This bland plastic place with no atmosphere, no heritage. It's a cheapish corporate chain restaurant catering to tourists and office workers. Boy was the one who found it, but you decide it suited your own body better. As diners go, it tend to be quite busy, and the staff changes quickly enough, so nobody ever really cares whether you are a return customer or not. And if they do care, it's easy enough to get someone else to cause the scene and get them fired. Despite the plastic trapping, what? Plastic trapping? The food is not half bad. It gives you an opportunity to indulge in the one of things in one of the things that keep you sane and centered. Um okay, let's see our options. Coffee, tobacco, sugar, alcohol. What is these options? Okay, coffee. I need caffeine to function. Tobacco. Having a smoking ease the tension, man. Sugar. My brain needs energy. Whoo. Alcohol. Having a beer calms me down. I mean, is it my real body or is it my body I control? I can't really tell. Because it says boy. So I'm guessing it's boy. I don't know. Let's be a highest caffeine guy. Go crazy. I need caffeine to function. Yep. You know better than to use strong stimulants, but you have to admit but you have to admit to having a fondness for coffee. There's something soothing in holding a warm cup in your hand, feeling that heat diffuse through your fingers. Maybe it's the fact that drinking coffee is one of your first memories when I can't believe it! Me name? Is that really you? The voice stalls you enough to spill your coffee, the hot fluid burning your hand. Who? You manage to supper as you look up. The surprise is not fake. You had not sensed anybody approach with the intent of talking to you, which is odd considering you always have half a feeler brushing the mind of the crowd these days. Okay, who around here still knows you as me name? Anyway, you haven't used that name in interaction with others for years, though that voice is familiar. I can't believe it! It really is you! You're alive! The man standing in front of you is familiar as well. A tall Hispanic man in his late 30s with a determined jaw and a bored grin plastered on the deeply tainted face. Okay. The trimming mustache is new, but as soon as you picked up the low level static hum, your brain catches up to the situation. Ortega, of course. This can't be a coincidence. Don, what is he doing here? He looks older than I remember. I can't feel my cheeks. I can feel my cheeks heat up despite myself. Oh no, that's like Hero. I can feel my smile growing on my face despite my surprise. Okay, let's do a fake impression. I can't believe the smile growing on my face despite my surprise. Okay? Yeah, let's go with that. The smile lands on your face before your brain catches up, and there's a moment of happiness, as if the intervening years had never happened. And then you realize that this is not a happy occasion, even if this is just a coincidence. It's a terrible risk. Yes, it is. The past is the past, and in the no, and in the present, you are on the opposite side. You'd be wise to remember that. Ortega, his name is a safe way to start. You need to figure out how to play this apart from acting surprised. No, not acting, being right now. The safest thing you can do is to just be honest about how confused you feel. Is that really you? I just. Don! What has it been? Almost a decade? 7 years, he says. Well, a look that makes you wonder if he has kept track of the days as carefully as you have. Here, take a seat. Oh no, he takes a seat without invitation. Okay, that's a bit better. He always was intrusive, too friendly. You would never have ended up friends otherwise. A battering ram was needed to break down the walls you have built around yourself. I, this is you flounder, unsure what to say because every word could reveal something you don't want to. A surprise? I'll take a surprise. Ortega keeps looking at you, and those brown eyes are as sharp as ever. You had forgotten how it feels to have their intensity focused directly on you. You can almost smell the ozone. Got it in one, you say, trying to crack a joke, but your smile is fake and bitter. I can't believe it. It's really you, me name. Continues with a growing smile, somewhat more about able to find words than you are. I thought, I mean, they said you were dead, but there's a load off. But that's a load off. He frowns a little and cocks his head. What? Cocks his head? Okay. You are all right, right? I am alive, anyways. You say evasively, mopping up spilled coffees from the table with one of the napkins. It it turns a slushy brown, like dried blood never washed out properly. I'm sitting here having a coffee. That counts as all right, I suppose. What do you say to someone you used to trust when he's now your enemy? Everything is strangely fraught with the risk. I don't know. You don't dare open too many cans of worms, okay? It does, he agrees, nodding vigorously. Okay, buddy, calm down with the nodding. When you went through the window, I guess we all did. It was a long way down. I never would have thought you survived. Part of you did not. The ground coming up fast, imprinted on your retinas in excruciating detail. The stench in your palms from broken glass, your breaths stolen by the wind. The pressure in your mind has finally found release in the freedom of this movement. Of this moment, not movement. In the distance, you hear sirens. In the distance, you hear screams. Below, you see the condon, dis, condon deserted, the LDPD having abandoned their post in a brief moment of telepathic clarity, more powerful than you have ever felt before. You can sense them running in the distance, panicking as the pressure intensifies. You close your eyes, but they are still inside. You can feel their minds snuffed out one by one. A different kind of virtuousism relief. Shake your head. I almost didn't, you admit, dispelling the unwanted memories. How do you look at him? Wait, how do you look to him right now? Do you look at like a failure? A has been? A former hero who just couldn't take the hit? You hope so. But also hope that you don't look like too much of a loser. Ortega was your friend, and if he starts to worry too much, you'll never get rid of him. Once we. There's a grimace. Wait, there's a grimace on Ortega's face, and you suddenly don't want to know how he ended the heartbreak threat. There was an explosion. I guess you wouldn't know that. Still made the call, and I was too close, so I was knocked out. Once I woke up, I tried looking for you, but there was medical staff everywhere, and Steele said you had been taken away in an ambulance. Died on your way to the hospital. Steele said you can't help the faint twitch. I guess he misunderstood. It was chaotic. His dampeners were blown. When I tried to find your body, they said it has been cremated together with the rest of the victims. They feared there might be a chemical agent involved, and all the bodies were disposed of quickly. Ortega keeps looking at you across the table, and you can see the way his hand twitches. He does want. Wait, does he want to reach out and touch you? You lean back a little just in case. I was very badly hurt. It's not a lie. You could have died. Part of you wanted to. Where have you been all these years? Ortega asks, trying to catch your gaze, but you keep evading. How do you answer something like that? You can't very well tell the truth. Maybe just a fraction of it. Oh no, they'll give too many clues. I focus on the trauma. Mm, yeah, focus on trauma, I guess. No, they'll give some clues as well. Oh well, too late. I did survive the fall, but only just. Once they got me out of the suit to treat me, I wasn't anybody special. They had no idea I was sidestep. You break off, looking down at your hands. They look steady deep. Wait, they look steady despite the blatant lie. Blatant lie or something. Good. You're still in control. I guess I must have slipped through the cracks in the chaos. It took a long time before I regained consciousness. And by then it was all over. The world had moved on, and the sidestep was dead. For once, Ortega keeps his silence, waiting for you to finish wavering your lies. I was listed under another name. Never really found out who. Nobody with nobody with family who cared. The bills kept racking up, and once I got better, I guess I had enough. I walked away from it. All. You pause, looking up at him after a moment of hesitation. Just for show. I just couldn't go back. Not after everything. You let your eyes shift down again. Having spent so much time controlling other people's body has made you a lot more aware of your body's language than you were before. I can't understand that. It was horribly it was a horribly handled mess from the start. Ortega jumps to the conclusion you hoped he would. Watching people die like that was horrible and traumatizing, but it was not as you had much of a choice. I can't say, but it was not as if you had much choice in the manner of your retirement, especially with you make a vague gesture towards your head, indicating your telepathic powers. I can only guess, he admits with a grimace. Grimace? I can't say. Even still got rattled. Did you get did you get therapy or something at least? I mean, the Rangers had access to, you know, for debriefing. It is obvious that this is hard to talk about for Ortega as well, but his unease is making you feel awkward, angry, wistful, awkward. I guess I don't know what's wistful. What is wistful? Something. Um. Uh, all right. Okay. You can't very well tell the truth about the kinds of therapy 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 you were put through, and you really hope that your feelings don't show on your face. Concerns like this always felt very awkward coming from Ortega because with others, you would always know whether they actually meant it or just said it to be polite. Not so with him. How much does he actually care about you? It doesn't matter, you finally say, struggling a little. I'm fine now. I'm glad you're fine, Ortega says with a sigh. But you could have at least sent us a message or something. We thought you were dead. I spent the last 7 years thinking about what I could have done differently. Why didn't you contact us? The reproach is the reproach is there, shoved down your throat with a hurt glance. Part of you wishes you could tell the truth, expose this shared for charity for what it really is, but it would mean giving up on what you have spent the last years planning, and you have sacrificed too much for that. What is one relationship compared to what you have to do? Dust in the wind. But dust or not, there is still a man seated across from you, waiting for an answer. I was ashamed. It was such a relief not to have to do this anymore. I was afraid to get back into action. I did not want to risk involving you into my problems. I was afraid to get. Let's split it off. I was ashamed. It was such. It was such a relief not to have to do this anymore. I was ashamed, you admit, cringing just a little to drive home. Wait, a little to drive home the point. His gaze softens, and you know you've hit the right note to get some sympathy. When I woke up, my first thought wasn't to get back in the hero game, or that I needed to contact my friends. It was relief. Relief that I was finally out. That I didn't have to do this anymore. Relief? Ortega's single word is soft and filled with questions. I know. You fake a bitter smile. That surprised me too. What kind of hero would I feel like that? What kind of hero would feel like that? Was I just faking it? Faking things? You weren't, he interrupts, with more heat than you had expected. You don't know that, you snap back, the truth making you raise your voice again. You don't know how I felt, how relieved I was that I didn't have to continue being sidestepped. You could have told us that you wanted to retire. You didn't have to pretend to be dead. No, I think I did. You look down on your cliched hands, not at his concerned face. If I told you, I know you would have tried to talk me out of leaving. I would have stayed because I didn't want to disappoint you. And eventually, I would have cracked under fire and got you killed. It was easier this way, letting you think that I was dead. Easier? For you, maybe. I spent 7 years thinking I've caused you death. Ortega leans a little closer. You do not. I never wanted you to blame yourself, you protest, raising your voice a little. That part is true. It hasn't even crossed your mind that Ortega might have taken your death personally. I thought you'd just move on and forget you ever existed. The words are sharp, and this time you look up and meet Ortega's eyes. A bit surprised at how good he still is at reading your mind. You did think exactly that he still cares about you is a risk and annoyance. You, you were meant to be forgotten. No, you were meant to be forgettable. I wasn't the only one who died. I know. We held a funeral for you, and an anathema, is it? But you were my friend, my best. Ortega starts, brows arching in a vaguely displeased frown. But the look on your face stops the accusations in their tracks. You are obviously not taking any pleasure from this, that his anger gets derailed. Me name. Are you sure you're fine? I know you said so, but you look like hell. I'm fine, you lie. I'm just living a quiet life now. Sidestep is dead. It was just as well the name was a stupid pun from the start, to let people think that your powers were based on a material arts rather than predicting your opponent's action. With telepathy being an exceedingly rare gift, you couldn't take the risk of being found out. So only a selected few people ever knew the truth about your powers. If not, your past. Just like almost nobody knows about Ortega's epilepsy or something? Epilepsy or something? Once Dr. Mortum is finished. Mortum. 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 Dr. Mortum is finished. You will have to pick what your new name will be. Hopefully something a bit more imposing. You have a few alternatives going around in your head, but none of them have really felt right. Hopefully you will come up with one soon. Sidestep might be dead, but you are not. Ortega looks as he's not sure he should continue, but does so anyway. You're still a telepath, right? The question surprises you, and for a moment you're not sure what to say. Making up a lie that you have lost your powers seems as unlikely and risky as admitting that you still have them. Ortega believes you are a boost. Believes you are a boost. Okay, someone who took the hero's drug and lucked out with a spin on the wheel of faith. If you imply that you have lost your powers, that would have consequences for other boosts as well, and things could snowball. On the other hand, if you admit you still being a telepath, you could end up as a possible suspect in the future. Okay, two parts. One is about the boost drug that is used to be who took the hero wait someone who took the hero drug and lucked out with spin of. Okay, so the boost drug is something that the hero organization does, and you lucked out, and I lucked out. Da da da. Or I could say I still have the powers and could lead me to being more screwed up in the down the line, I guess. Okay. Uh, I could say no, not anymore because I was almost gravely injured. I don't know. Let's go with that. You have an almost overwhelming surge to jolt the table and make him spill some coffee on his immac- immaculate white suit or something. Who wears a white suit these days anyway? Apart from people wanting to challenge fate itself. Not really, he said instead, shaking your head. My power's there. Pretend to hesitate, to sound properly tortured. Maybe I blocked them from myself after what happened. I don't know. I don't care. And even if they were still there, I wouldn't use them again. I can. I can't. Not after. You make a vague gesture with your hands. With your hand. Trusting that Ortega will fill in the blanks as well. Being being head blind is better these days. Easier. I'm sorry. Ortega's face falls a little, and the pity there makes your hand twitch a little. For a brief moment, you felt a sudden urge to give up, to tell him everything, to ask for help, to go straight. You've missed this. You missed Ortega badly. And since you can't read his mind to see what he really thinks of you, there are still illusions of friendship and trust. What is it? You find yourself asking. Part of me wishes you still were telepath you used to be. Ortega finally admits. I could I could have used your help. You are sure your mouth actually stops working for a moment before you manage to get a confused what? I know it's useless wishing things were different, but I just don't know who else I can trust. Suddenly Ortega looks at his age, pushing 40 with the wrinkles around his eyes to show it. That's not a current considerable age for the enhanced. In many cases, the augmentation and drugs causing through the system keep them younger and fitter than than is fair. As long as there is someone willing to sponsor the upkeep, the benefit of being a ranger are second to none. We haven't met in years. You really sure you can trust me? You managed to get it out. Paranoia crawling down your spine as you try to process this. Is this a trap? Does he suspect? What is he up to? Had he followed you here? Your heartbeat quickens, and you have to busy yourself with the coffee to stay in your seat. I'm sure Ortega looks straight at you. The word so simple and honest that you want to call the bluff. Not that it matters now, he continues with a sigh. He looks so tired and frail that before you can help yourself, the word spat out. Why don't you tell me about it anyway? Would it be alright if we talk somewhere safer? Ortega fiddles with his cup. You can see the telltale signs of nervousness in the way of his fingers refusing to stay still. Safer. Is it that bad? Maybe it's his nervousness that does it, but you are finding yourself calming down. If this really were a trap, it would been an awkward way to go about it. But if he's really in need, really needs help, well, it can't hurt to have a contact still in the hero game, as long as he doesn't suspect. Maybe. I don't know. It's just that it's not. Wait. It's just that it's not just my secret. Secret? Ortega. Secret? Ortega. Since when did you start having secrets? The very thought is absurd. Absurd. I don't know. You were the one that had secrets, even back then. Well, to be completely honest, it's my friend. She's. Friend? You say? Raising an eyebrow? You feel slightly amused. I can't help it but tease him a little about his friend. Confused. Am I supposed to know who he's talking about? Curious. Knowing more about Ortega's current friend could be useful. Annoyed. I don't really care. The smart villain is going to be amusing. Okay, no. Smart villain, tease him. Let's just go with the teasing. It's not like that. Here she is, with a slightly embarrassed laugh. Don't tease me. She really is just a friend. If you say so, you tease, raising your hand defensively as he gives you a stern look. Fine. She is a friend of yours. A friend in trouble, apparently. That's not something you're a stranger to either, he points out. Yeah, I do have a habit of putting my nose where it doesn't belong, don't I? You wish it weren't true, but he was there for a lot of those occasions, so he would know. You've grown smarter over the years, you hope. Just let me give her a call and check first, okay? Ortega pulls out a phone from his pocket, making you smile a little at the size of it. There was a reason his codename was Charge. It was all too easy to ruin any electrical component he touches. He touched it. Okay. That's really interesting. So things had to be specially insulated if he wanted them to last. Hence the insulated brick of a phone. Nokia. Yeah, those phones are pretty good. Angie? Ortega is talking loudly. It's not talking loudly. Okay. But you are far too curious not to try to listen in. Are you around this afternoon? Good. And the rest? Good. I was thinking about coming by. And he gives you a quick look before continuing. I've met someone that might be able to give some input. Me name Brown. Why? Why did I even write that name? I know it's been a while, but why the hell did I even write that? You suppress a shiver. How long has it been since you heard that name? I know. Ortega shakes his head. Still on the phone. I know. But would you be willing to? Yes. I know. Yes. I know. That's why I'm calling you. He sighs a little, waiting for the person on the other side to calm down. Yes, of course. I can vouch for him. I wouldn't suggest this otherwise. Another pause, interrupted by an absurd chuckle. Yes, that me name. Who else would it be? I know. That's a long story, but yes, very much alive and retired. I just thought, yes, that's exactly why I suggested it. I'll see you in a while then. You were quiet for a bit, waiting for Ortega to hang up. Are you okay over there? Apparently you were quiet for too long. Ortega has leaned forward a little, looking worried. Yes, I'm fine, just thinking. I'm just hoping he isn't expecting too much. Is he sure his friend is okay with this? Let's go with the second option. That seems. I don't know, you say, rubbing your head a little. I just hope you don't expect too much from me, considering I'm not. You make a vague gesture with your hand, and he sighs. It's okay. We're looking for advice more than anything. Even if you can't do anything anymore, you know more than about. Wait, you know more about how things work? Ortega pays the tab, tipping generously. Honestly, I'm just glad to have someone who knows anything about this to talk to. Someone? You ask with a small smirk as you both stand up. Well, he starts looking a little embarrassed. If by someone you mean you. I missed you, me name. The hug is such a surprise that you're not able to avoid it. Of course, you can't avoid hugs, even if you can't see them. Suddenly find yourself pulled into a tight embrace, a gesture of affection that used to be a common between you. Ortega is a very physical man, and back then you quickly realized that you had to learn to deal with it. But that was years ago, and since then, have you even touched anybody like this? Apart from accidentally brushing against strangers in a crowd, you honestly don't think so. Not in your own body. That makes you feel okay. What is wistful? What is that? Okay, I need to search it. Sorry, I just need to cut in between. Okay, wistful, having or showing a feeling of vague or regretting longing. Okay, that's what it means. How do you pronounce it? Yeah, wistful. Okay, but that's sad, awkward, sad. That makes you feel awkward. Let's go with awkward. You tense up a bit trying to keep your emotions in check. Affections never came easy to you, and after a moment, Ortega senses your awkwardness and lets go. Sorry, he says, looking a little embarrassed. I couldn't give you a hug before since you were sitting down. Checking to see if I'm real. You joke to ease the tension a bit, and from the look of on his face, it works. I don't think I could have made you up. Wait, what? I don't think I could have made you up if I tried. Okay, okay. That I don't know why I couldn't talk that properly. Ortega keeps an eye contact just a moment too long for comfort, and you find yourself turning away first. Now, should we go meet your friend? Might as well get this over with so you can set up a date with Mortem to deliver the money as soon as possible. One cab ride later. I'm actually interested in what his friend is. It's probably the lady that he brainwashed, probably. I don't know. There was a saying back at the farm: never volunteer for anything. Right now, you regret not to listen to that advice. Just because you and Ortega used to be friends doesn't mean you are on the same side now. You need to remember that. Why would you agree to help him out without asking for details? This could have been averted if only you had been a little bit more suspicious. You need to remember that Ortega is not on your side anymore. Don! What's wrong? Ortega asks, looking a little worried since you were suddenly rooted to the pavement where the cab let you off. You hope you didn't swear out loud. What is it? You look up at the estuary building which is looming over you. It's sharp, modest angles breaking up the sunshine into patterned shadows over the cascade. Shadows that cascade over the facade? Something? There are far fewer windows than in a normal office building, and you know that ones that are there are reinforced against stronger things than recurring earthquakes. It's an impressive building, sure, but that's not why you couldn't bite back your gasp. It is, above all, a familiar one. You are looking up at the current headquarters of Rangers. Oh, shoot. Trying not to panic. Done indeed. Oh, I forgot. You haven't seen the new building? Thanks, Ortega. Ortega smiles and gestures towards the dis, dis, despicably dis, the unguarded entrance. I can't even say the word properly. Jesus Christ. Got finished about 2 years ago. Finally got the backing to pull it off. They are sinking a whole lot more money into the Marshall system these days. Or maybe Steele is just getting better is better at getting it than I was. The laugh has a faint tone of self mockery, but you don't join in. I didn't know I didn't know your problem involved the Rangers. You know he's looking at you strangely, but you can't help yourself. I didn't want to talk in too much details about it at the diner. You never know who's listening. Is that a problem? Your mouth is your mouth is like dry ash. But you have something to say. I didn't expect it to have to do anything with the Rangers. I thought it was just a favor for a friend. I'm retired out of just go there. I thought it was just a favor for a friend. I just thought it was a favor for a friend, you say, keeping a straight face. Not something involving heroes. You want to get the hell out of here, but you hold your ground all the same. You have gone too far to back down now, without assuring suspicion. It's not like I'm asking you to come out of retirement, just to share your insight on something. Ortega clearly seems to be confused about why you are hesitating, which makes sense. While you never actually were a ranger, you worked with them regularly, and you visited their old headquarters more than once. I know, you sighed, resisting the urge just to turn around and haul a cab. Just don't expect too much. Shall we then? Ortega gestures towards the entrance, chuckling a little. They won't bite, I promise. I am going to hold you to that promise, you mutter. You mutter as you follow, trying to keep your nerves from showing. Just like walking a tightrope. Yep, just like walking a tightrope. The first thing that strikes you is how different this place looks through your own eyes, compared to the multi-spectrum vision of Lady Argent. Back when you stole her body, you did it from afar, so you never had to approach this place in person. The risk was too great, and you wanted to avoid the very thing you are walking right into now. Old and nosy friends. It wasn't even hard to arrange an encounter with her, as she frequent a physical therapist office located close to a suitable hotel. Since she was a regular, since she was a regular enough scheduled for you to prepare in advance, all you had to do was to rent a room under an assumed name and keep an eye out for her as she exited her appointment. Mind all relaxed and easy to process. Habits can be as dangerous as they can be helpful. But having done all this in her body also means that you are not prepared for how drab and originally this place looks. Ordinary. This place looks with its smiling receptionists and boarded security officers. The walls look like ordinary walls, painted in subtle colors and hung with posters and pictures. You see no traces of electricity humming through the hidden circuits. Or is it all of the multitude of security systems you know are there? The Rangers are not exactly the LDPD, but they are still an official team. That means whole package with the government license, license, and everything that comes with it. No wonder you didn't sign up, even when you were on the same side. As far as you know, a physical scan should trigger nothing. You know from experience that you read exactly like a normal human to a various system that scans for boost and mods. Unless there was some new development in sensory technology you haven't heard of, you should be safe. Your telepathic power, on the other hand, you weren't exactly truthful, downplaying them like you did. And even though you don't know of any medical system that can sense the presence of use, it would not be impossible possible that they might have a sensitive on staff. Regardless of Ortega's claim, you keep those shield tight and hard. Try to keep my telepathy as dominant as possible. Try it. Let's keep it dom dominant dom dominant dormant dormant. That's the word. Try to keep my telepathic powers as dormant as possible. You relax your telepathic gifts, leaving them simmering in their most dormant state. But you can do nothing about the nerve sweat darkening your armpits. Yeah, I can't really do much. Swallowing hard, you follow Ortega towards the elevator. The elevator looks so much like a cell. Okay, but you enter anyways. I can't believe you're not the marshal anymore. You say to break the silence once the elevator starts moving. The vibration of the engines hides any evidence of the senses you know must be there. Checking every aspect of your bodies, there's probably somebody sitting in a room far from here, seeing how nervous you are on the terminal readings. You only hope that naturally for most people who are let into this place. Hope that's natural. Things were different after the heartbreak fiasco. Ortega goes silent for a moment, watching his reflection in the steel door before he continues. People died. Friends died. You. I thought you were gone as well. His hands twitch, but he doesn't look at you. If I made a different call, you and them and anathema and Thamnia something might still be alive. I didn't want to. Oh wait, I didn't want the responsibility anymore. He leans forward into the security scanner. The plain blue light playing over his eyes and face. I thought about retiring, but grew antsy after a week. I'm not I'm not one for living quietly, I suppose. I almost envy you. I almost envy you that. Okay. You shouldn't, you manage to say with a faint smile as the door hiss open and you step out into the hallway. You shift through the fading Lady Argent memories and you think this might be leading to the fourth floor conference room. Being able to quit is nothing to be proud of. Not that, not that you have, even though he doesn't know the truth. Changed. Yes. Quit. No. You always made me proud, me name. There is no shame in retiring. There it is again. That voice so filled with caring and confidence. Can his concern really be true? Maybe he's really doesn't suspect a thing. I still don't understand what this is all. You begin, but fall silent as you enter the room and see Lady Argent standing motionless near the window. Okay, as still as she is a statue, with her back to you, Marshall still sits slouched in the chair that Bailey holds up under his bulk. Even without his armor, his body is heavy with the cybernetic implants needed to control it. Okay. Harold looks up from where he stands, and there is a what Haggard or something nervous look at to nervous look to him as if he has been pacing. He still has bruises on his face. You can sense the tensions in the room even without flexing your telepathic muscles. I'm sorry I had Angie call you. Wait, I'm sorry I had Angie call you all in so suddenly. Ortega apologizes and then gestures towards the chair. Have a seat, Mine, and we'll explain everything. It's about the robbery. I took over Lady Argent's mind and did the robbery. Probably that's why. You take a seat, face carefully calm, though you had half expected restraints to snap shut around your wrist and gas to start pouring out of the walls, but there's nothing. Harold sits down. Lady Argent remains standing, and Marshall Steele taps his finger against the armrest of his chair as he looks between you and Ortega. Okay. As if he doesn't know what to feel, and right now you can't afford to pray. It's an honor to meet you all. Hello, Chen. It's been a while. Remain quiet. Okay, let's. Okay, if I say that sentence, I'm gonna get punched. Let's go with it. It's an honor to meet you all, you say, with what you hope is a suitable level of nervous anticipation. You pointedly avoid looking at Steele. If you're lucky, you'll get through this ordeal without him questioning you. Charge has spoken highly of you. Sidestep. Harold begins, and you quickly raise a hand to interrupt. Me name. Just me name. Sidestep was 7 years ago. As was me name. You feel like you almost forgotten what kind of person you were back then. Harold wouldn't know, of course. Ortega is more than willing to apologize for your faults, but still is a different story. What does he see when he looks at you? He's not even the wildest card here. You wish Lady Argent would turn around so you could see if her eye flashes with recognition. The tension makes you gut twist. As you wish, me name. Harold smiles, the wide and easy grin that has melted the heart of millions of fans. He is a relatively new addition to the team, a young man betting against the house as he injected himself with the hero drug. Okay? Walking away with the powers of flight and durability. Few boosts hit the kind of jackpots he had. If you hadn't seen the if you hadn't seen the serious look on his face when you walked in, you would have had doubts whether he had landed yet. Let's move on to the business at hand. Ortega starts, sitting down as well. I know we all have other things to do, especially you, me name. I know that I should respect your retirement, but we can't trust anybody else with this. Why me? So what is this all about? Is that bad then, huh? Okay, let's go to the second question. I'm kind of interested. So what is this all about then? You look around the table, wondering who will be the one to explain this. That says a lot about the group dynamics. As expected, Steele leans forward, looking straight at you as he speaks. A week ago, an unknown assailant manipulated Lady Argent into stealing an extremely dangerous item. Now, she does not remember much, but she got the impression that it was Not one of our usual villains. Yep, knew it. You sit quietly because this is the only thing you can do. You sit and wait for it. What could you have missed that she picked up on? What tracks have you not erased? When will they end this masquerade and drag you into jail, or worse, back to the farm? The thought of spending years in that dampened, dampened facility sends shivers down your back. The absurdly you feel the need to be sick again. You wish you hadn't had the second cup of coffee. It was one of our own. Lady, oh shoot! Oh come on! Lady Argent speaks up for the first time. Her voice as hard as her silvery skin. I don't remember much, but that was the impression I got. This was someone who was supposed to be on our side. She is looking straight at you, sizing you up, but there is no flash of recognition, no widening eyes, no pointed fingers or accusation. A hero? Your surprise is not fate, but because you wonder how she got that impression. Perhaps your lingering bad cons- conscience, conscience. I can't say words now. That you had to use her. So perhaps you have to watch your consciousness. That's what subconsciousness more when you possessed people, not just your consciousness thought. Apparently, you had not prepared adequately for the emotionless resurge. Resurged you. Lesson learned. Now you just have to stay out of jail to use it. Yes, she says, and finally sits down. Silver lip curled in an unhappy scowl. Scrowl? Something? This is why we couldn't just bring in any of the psychics we know. It could be anybody. Unlike Harold, she has not outward outward marks from the fight. She is as smooth and perfect as always. Her blue suit as tight as the second skin atone her silver one, right? No need for armor. You're a perfect nobody, as if she realizes how that sounds. She frowns, dismissing her previous judgment. Well, not exactly a nobody. Ortega always speaks well of you. Ortega exaggerates a lot. Okay, I'm gonna go a little bit more. I'm closing to an hour now, which is over the limit I was planning on. But this is interesting now. Ortega tends to exaggerate a lot. You give Ortega a quiz quizly look, quizzical look or something. Had he been talking about you after your death, filling the heads of the new recruits with stories about your heroic career, he did tell you that I can't really do what I used to anymore, right? The look on Harold's face is one disbelief, while Steele simply frowns a little. Ortega opens his mouth as if he's about to start explaining, but Harry, Lady Argent shit, interrupts. So you're really not a telepath anymore? Her words are blunt and hostile, and the way she looks down her nose at you makes you want to show her exactly how much she can do. If it had been anywhere but here, where there might be scanners sensitivity show to scanners sensitive enough to show what it is really happening. You might have considered just breaking into her mind right now and seeing how many others she could take down before she fell. But here, it is too much of a risk. But can you really afford to leave her like this? Since she obviously remembers some impressions. How long will it be before she starts to figure out the truth? Now that she's met you, or worse, how long before they find someone else they trust to help unveil the tangle in her mind? Damn it. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. Should you trust your own work to remain intact for as long as you need it to? Or should you just admit that you still have some remnants of your psychic gifts so you can help misdirect their efforts? I will admit to still being telepath. I keep denying I have powers. Okay, I will admit I have remnants. I might have been a bit I might have been a bit evasive about that, you confess, looking down at the table. Evasive steel voice is hard and unimpressed. What are you talking about, me name? You don't you don't need to look up at the tiger. You can imagine the look of hurt feelings clearly enough. I didn't want to get involved, alright? You tap into your anger as you glare up at people around the table. Okay. I'm retired. I'm out. But Ortega just wouldn't take no for an answer. I thought it didn't quite add up, Ortega says with a small sigh. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to pressure you into something. Okay, I kind of messed up over here, but screw it, let's go with the flow. You're a hard man to say no to. You admit with a sigh because that part is so very true. Never let, never mind that, Lady Argent interrupts. Then you are still a telepath, I suppose, you admit with a sigh. Though you can't stop their investigation. It is far better if you are involved. If you turn them down, they will go to somebody else. And that somebody else might start to unravel the wear of 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 his frustration or something you have worn inside her mind. Not to mention that the Rangers are now aware of the fact that you exist and have powers. It's not as you can just leave this alone. If Lady Argent permits it, I can try to make the memories clear and see if some more there aren't some clues that she just can't remember. Lady Argent pulls back a little and gives you a look as you had promised you'd shoot her. But she reluctantly nods. If that is what it takes, she tosses back her silver hair with a flowerized as if you had just issued her a challenge. Let's do it. Wait a minute, you protest. I haven't really used my powers for use, let alone for something like this. Please, give me time to center myself. I need to cleanse my mind. Let me cleanse it. That is one word for it. You have to come up with a distinctively different telepathic feel, one that can't be associated with what had happened to her. This will take time, not to mention figure out which direction you want the evidence pointing. That's probably why, Steele admits reluctantly, still looking at you as if he expected you to mess up. Nothing new. I'll need a week or two. You suggest after pondering your schedule, and I would like to have Ortega there as well. He won't influence the process since he's unreadable. You give Ortega that what you hope is a suitably nervous smile. The truth is, you want Ortega there as a witness and as an anchor. If he is around, you will have an easier time remembering who you used to be. Sidestep. The hero. He is the mask you need. If you don't mind, Angie, I'd be honored. There is something there that you can't pick up on. Something between Ortega and Lady Argent that almost makes her say no. Something that caused her to frown. Something interesting. Fine, she says. after a few moments of hesitation. You win. We'll do it your way. Try to get ready as fast as you can. You are not sure which one of you is the most relieved when you are finally allowed to leave the room. The corridor outside is empty, and you have to stop yourself from just making a run for it. Instead, you lengthen your step as you head back to the elevator, letting out a deep breath of relief. Not that you get far. Wait, that voice is Steele's, and it's making you reflective, reflective, reflexively freeze up until you realize that the tone is not a threatening one. If anything, there's a lot. There's a look of regret on his face when you turn around to see him. Huh? That can't be true. I'll walk you out, he says. Wait, falling into step beside you, unbeaten. It's a funny feeling around being around Steel without his armor. You're so used to him being massive that it somehow feels off when he's just around your height. To be fair, he's far bulkier than you, and probably weighs at least twice as much. You don't know if he'd had more of his body replaced with cybernetic implants since back when you knew him, but there were always a good moment of metal hidden behind synth synth skin. Both his lower leg are artificial, that you know and hear. His strides are a lot heavier than yours. The left arm might be new if you are reading his body language correctly. So he says, clearing his thought, since you still haven't replied to him. It's not a conversation you want to have, but you also know better than to fight him on this. So maybe if you're lucky, you can keep this single single syllable words and get out of here before you reveal yourself. So you survived. Still cuts in front of you, forcing you to stop. Oh well, a confrontation is it is then. That's one way of putting it. You don't bother to put up with the smiling mask for him. This is not Ortega. Steele doesn't care one whit how you feel, just whether you are a threat or not. Little does he know. And now you are back? Not by choice. Trust me on that one. You let yourself sag a little, the frustration leaking to the front. This is not fake. And you hope that he picks up on that. Ortega pulled me into this. If I had known, you wouldn't have come. He finishes your sentence for you, and you answer with a nod. I'm retired. You were never comfortable here even before you returned. Still looks around the corridor, the wide, stark hallway, a marked difference from the older, grimmer headquarters. This place is too new to have a personality yet. I think you mean there? I'd never been here before. You made it hard to feel at home. It's nothing. It's not about being comfortable. It's about being retired. I don't know how to answer this. You were never comfortable here even before you returned. So made it. I think you mean there. I've never been here before. Yeah, that's the thing. Ah, how far? Oh, I already went past that. Okay. I think you mean there. I've never been here before. That's a lie. That is a lie, but not one he needs to know. Though you have to admit the place is confusingly bland now that you don't have Argent's vision to guide you to help you guide. Ah, nitpicking. One thing I have not missed. Is that all? You can't keep the annoyance out of your voice. You just want to get out of here. No, still keep standing in your path, nailing you to the wall with his glare. There's one other thing. Ortega might not say anything about the fact that you 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 keep lying to him, but don't think he doesn't notice. I didn't want to get involved. You raise your voice, not liking how defensive you sound. You had reasons. Surely still would understand that. I told the truth once I realized that it was an actual emergency and not just Ortega trying to drag me back in. It's not the first time. Still does not look impressed. He might have forgiven, maybe even forgotten, but there's a reason why I never trusted you. Maybe I maybe I had my reasons for lying. You did. Your life depended on it. Still does. Maybe you did. Maybe I don't care. That's your pre- prerogative. I don't remember ever needing your approval. But I will play nice. This once. For all time's sake. Was that me or was that Steel? I can't even say. Okay, I'm gonna stop here, even though it's like at a fucking at a serious, intense moment. Sorry. I wish I could continue, but like if I look at the time and the duration of this recording, it's been over an hour, 12 minutes, whatever. But yeah, I'm gonna stop here. This is actually getting intense with my choices. Pretty bad choices. I can tell that much. Steel suspects I'm the one because I lied to Ortega, then I told the truth in front of Ortega. That kind of brought up a confusion, saying why would I do that? But oh well. What said was said. I had to change tactics. Anyway, that's it for now for this episode. Oh, I can't talk. That's it for this episode of Fallen Hero Rebirth. Hope you guys are enjoying it. There'll be more coming out within every 2 to 3 weeks. Like always, I release one video per week, and I'm trying to do another one, which is a Warframe compilation of doing night waves per weekly. I'm way behind schedule, but hey, I have work in real life and stuff, so that is expected. I'll try to make up time to complete that video, but other than that, everything will be going smoothly, I hope. Unless the stuff in real life happens. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye, have a good day or night, whichever it is. It's night over here. So, see ya.